Tired, Andy.
You tired, Andy?
Shall we bow our heads? As we gather here for fellowship and food, remind us that we have a common purpose to build a better world. Let us therefore count our blessings and work toward alleviating the suffering of others. And now, may God bless this food to our use and us to your service. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Andy. Thank you. I'd like to thank Andy for doing the invocation and Jim McCampbell for being our greeter today. It looks like we got a great crowd. We're getting back to normal. Getting back to see some of the people that we haven't seen in so long. Morris, great to have you here. Tom Twark, what is this, 3 weeks in a row? 3 weeks in a row. And who else is here? We got a whole bunch of them. Okay, Doug Mills is here. Where'd he go? Is he hiding back there?
He's out in the hall.
Oh, he's out in the hall. Okay, yeah, Doug Mills is here. And we got other guests too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is Rick Black. He's one of my fraternity brothers from Kiwanis class of 75. He lives in East Indianapolis, and he always comes down for about a week, which we have a good time.
Great. Glad to have you here. Glad to have you here. It's great. Just a reminder, the drop a buck in the container over there for Masonic Cornerstone for allowing us to use this place. And Kim, of course, she's coming through here and just saying hi to everybody again. So let's make sure we drop a buck in there for letting us use this. It's a great facility, and when we have this kind of a group, it's fantastic. So we appreciate it. Volunteer opportunities. We will be packing backpacks for the Nurse Summer Program on June 14th, which is next Monday. I think we can use a couple more people. Don works really hard with the 47 bags we had to pack last time. Is that it? So we do need some help. July 12th and July 26th will also be doing that. So come on out and help with the backpacks. We will be participating, as I said last time, in the Tri-Kappa Summer Program, Summer Lunch Program, on July 20th and 27th. We've got 3 routes, so we'll need about 6 people each day. And McDonald's has graciously agreed to provide the lunches for that day, so we'll meet at McDonald's and pick up the lunches and get them delivered on those 2 days. So we're going to meet at McDonald's South, so that'll be great. There's Doug Mills. Doug, we introduced you, Doug, and you were out of the room, so thanks for being here. So another thing, I went to a meeting this week for the Kiwanis Kids Committee, and I don't know if anybody ever saw the work with Riley and the Kiwanis kids, and it was K period, I period, D period, S period. And I never knew what that meant. I just thought it was Kiwanis kids. But it's Kiwanis and direct service. And that's really how they got started. The kids committee was Kiwanis and direct service. And they used to transport kids for the hospital, for Riley. And so they are activating that again. I know a family or a couple of Kiwanians that I met there the other day that have been transporting a young man. He's 6 years old, but he's got terminal cancer. He has to be at Riley 2 times a week. And it's really tough, but they transport him two times a week to and from Riley. The way that got started, I understand, is that a doctor at Riley Hospital talked to a Kiwanian back in 1994, and there was an accident in Terre Haute, and a lady was driving. She had her 3 kids in the car. She's a single mom. She had a very, very serious accident. She went to one hospital in Terre Haute. Two of the kids went to another hospital in Terre Haute, and one child was transported to Riley. And the lady got out of the hospital, but she had nobody, and she had no car. She had no way to get to and from Riley to see her son. There was very serious condition at Riley. So he talked to Kiwanis, and Kiwanis ended up picking up the lady and bringing her to and from Riley to see her son. And it's that type of thing that Kiwanis is all about. So we do a lot with, you'll be hearing more about the Kids Committee and some of the other things that they'll be doing. We'll be talking about that. But at that group, one of the projects that they're doing is trying to help out Ronald McDonald House. And I put out an email to everybody the other day. I hope most read it, but pop-top tabs for the can tabs. I've been challenged by another Kiwanis club to see if we can come up with the most, whoever can come up with the most. So I need everybody's help in getting all the pop-top tabs. Just bring the tabs. I don't need the cans, but just the tabs, because that's what Ronald McDonald's collects. And we're going to be taking them all to Ronald McDonald's. Phil, if everybody at CELP starts picking them up too, that'd be great, you know? So let's get those pop tabs, just bring them in here, and I'll take them. The weigh-in is September 7th, and we have to weigh them in to see who has the most. So I'd love to get all of those and be able to go down there and bring them. The board and some of the others have talked a little bit about other types of meetings for the club, social get-togethers. We talked about maybe having in the months where we have 5 Thursdays, having one of them be a social get-together. I need to get some ideas from you as what you want to do. You know, we talked about having a picnic, or maybe going to the theater here or over in Hillsboro. What else can we do with spouses and everything? You know, just enjoy it. So get me some ideas of what you think we can do with that, and let's try to have more fun. I'm all for fun, so let's try to do something. Member updates. Boy, we got a lot of people here today, and it's great to see you. Any member updates from people we haven't been here, or anybody know of anybody that's been around and how they're doing? Okay. Community involvement meetings. You know, make sure you tell someone about our meetings. Obviously, last week people listened, and we had some people that joined and came today. So I appreciate that. Bring your friends, bring your enemies, bring your relatives. You know, bring some people to a meeting. Let them see what Kiwanis does. I think it's really, really important to do that. Birthdays. We had no Kiwanian birthdays this week. So I couldn't talk about that, but there is I had one that came up, which was important, I guess, to Indy in 1975. Elio Castaneves. Today's his birthday, so make sure you wish him a happy birthday. I was looking at history and what happened on this day. And how many of you have ever heard of, I'm going to try to pronounce this right, Lidice, Czechoslovakia? Anybody? Pardon me? John Cully. Okay, you got it, John?
I don't think we can hear him.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about this. In 1939, there existed a small town in what is now known as the Czech Republic, named Lidice. It was a town of about 525 people, and it just come under Nazi control. A high-ranking German official, Deputy Reich Reinhard Heydrich, was appointed to oversee this area. On May 27, 1942, Heydrich was shot by 2 Czechoslovak resistance operatives and ultimately died less than a week later. German officials declared a state of emergency while they were looking for the assassins. This led them to Lidice. When they couldn't find the attackers at that point, they, under Hitler's orders, on June 10th, 1942, so that's today, 1942, rounded up 192 boys and men, marched them to a farm on the edge of town and shot them all. The women and children were shipped off to concentration camps where most of them died. In all, some 340 people from Lidice died and the town was destroyed. The name of the village was removed from all local municipal records. So you didn't even hear, nobody heard about it. I mean, there were a few articles, when I started checking on this, there were a few articles in the papers back then, but what a terrible event. Today the town has come back. It has about 600 residents, but most of the town has memorials all over to those killed in the June 10, 1942 massacre. It's a bad day. They ultimately, what I read is they actually burned the entire town, and there was nothing left to that town after the June 10th massacre. So it's really a tragic, historic point, but it's something that needs to be brought up so that people knew about it. I never heard about it. Obviously, John did. I've never heard about it, and I wanted to let everybody else know about it because I think it is very, very important. That's the only history thing I had. So things to do in Crawfordsville this weekend. Anything going on? Well, hopefully it stops raining and we have the Strawberry Festival. Opens tomorrow at 11 a.m. and they've got some great music planned and a lot of great events. So get over there. If you happen to miss it, at Lucas Oil Raceway, they got Slamology. So I heard that on the radio last night. I don't know what it's all about, but it's a custom car show and some real wild stuff at Lucas Oil Raceway. And as far as national days, today's National Ballpoint Pen Day. So everybody has a ballpoint pen. It's National Ballpoint Pen Day. It's National Black Cow Day. So when we get done here, we can go have a black cow. And National Iced Tea Day. So have some more iced tea, enjoy it. And this is June 10th is also part of, and I know all you guys and ladies know this, but it's National Body Piercing Week. So, you know, you can all show off your body piercing. Of course, it is Superman Week too. Today starts Superman Week, so some more National Day fun. Happy Bucks. Who's happy? Yes, Andy.
You may not remember this, but we had a little Kiwanis tragedy during the Strawberry Festival a few years ago. We set up an ice cream stand. It was a total failure.
Really?
Yeah, and I was in charge.
Andy, we won't ask you to do that again.
No, we set up over there where the paramedic, where the community paramedic building is, because the Union Federal in that little parking area right there east or west of the paramedic center. And we thought we'd circumvent the rental charge for the on the grounds. And it was funny to watch people come in there because all they do, they were focused in on the Strawberry Festival. They walked right by our ice cream stand, and then on the way out, they were so full they didn't want it.
Sure.
So that was a huge lesson for the Kiwanis.
Well, we talked about it.
I don't know if you ever knew about it.
No, I did. That was before me, I guess.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about how we can participate in the Strawberry Festival. Yeah. Somebody said ask Andy, so I don't know. We'll have to figure that out, how we can do that. That would be fun, I guess. Yeah, Happy Bucks, Jim. Okay, who else? It's all Miami Mission this week again. Sure, Chuck?
Here in the Masonic Cornerstone, we're having an open house Saturday. We're going to be serving strawberries and cake and giving tours. Also, this is the next to last week to get into the raffle for the off-road art vehicle. We have the drawing on Father's Day, and so if you want to get in, I've got tickets, $20 a piece. So
Now, just so you know, Mark, Alan, and I have both bought tickets, and there's a little battle between us which one's going to win it. But I told him I would rent it to him once in a while if he wanted. So, but no, get your tickets, and I'll work out the same deal with you. So, Jerry.
One for Mountie Mission and one praying for sun this afternoon so I can mow before I need to bring in a combine.
Yeah, there you go. Who else? Karen.
One, my son did not break my foot last week by dropping a lawn chair on it, a bad chair at a baseball game. I ended up having to do an x-ray, so it's not broken.
Good.
And the other one is for my other son, Alex, who pitched a fantastic game the other night. They won 19-4. He's got another one tonight, and prayers for him as him and his best friend are racing side-by-sides in Popcorn, Indiana on Saturday.
Cool. Cool. Anybody else for Mountie Mission? Let's, yes, Andy.
I'm still happy I'm retired.
There you go. Good. Anybody else? Okay, I'll throw in 5 for Mountie Mission too. You know, this is, it is such a great thing that they have going on over there, and they are getting ready for all their school activities. We will have sometime probably in July or August, we will have the lady from Mountie Mission come here and accept her check and just give us a little bit of thought of what's going on there. So anybody else that has anything for Mountie Mission, we do appreciate it. Who else? Let's see, anybody else for Happy Bucks? Okay, we've got a speaker today, and I think Don Thompson, you're going to introduce our speaker?
I will do that.
Thank you.
Our speaker today is Phil Goode. I think everybody in the room knows Phil. It's been my pleasure to work with Phil over the last 5, maybe 6 years on the utility service board. And we've really got a lot of very good things going on in the city. And what a lot of people don't understand is how important the delivery of electric power to companies and corporations that are moving to town is. It becomes one of the deal breakers in getting some of these places to come to town, is what kind of utility service is available to them. So there's that, and of course several other things that have been going on. And Phil is going to fill us in on the latest, which you've just been reading about in the news. Phil?
Well, you know, I was at Rotary yesterday, and we have about just as many coming back as you have, so that is good news. And don't pick on me because I'm from Rotary, because I made sure that Randy Henderson joined this one because I was in the other one. So it worked out fine for all of us. We got it all covered, but I know everybody's wondering about the new industry that's supposed to come on 200 South, just few hundred yards from Newcore Road. The good news is it's in CLP service territory, and we've been negotiating with them for 3 or 4 months on rates. And we have some economic development rates that we offered, and Tempurpedic was very pleased with the 5-year phase-in rates. So it's a good week, because for 3 months I couldn't talk about any of it. And now it was busting at the seams. My son asked my wife, said, "Did you know that project Dad was working on was Tempurpedic?" And she goes, "No, I don't ask him about it. He don't tell me." So that was pretty cool that we're going to get that. When Tempur gets here and is in full production, this will be the 3rd largest customer that CLP has, and we have 10,000 customers. But LSC and CSI are our 2 largest customers. Ray Bestis used to be our largest customer, but after they were bought out in 2009, they're not running like they used to in the past, and they've shut down quite a few of their lines. And Tempur's going to employ 300 employees, $140 million investment. With the state incentives, it's going to have a new road, 200 south, water, sewer. We already have the electric within a 1/4 mile of that site, because if you've been on 150 south, you see that we have that large solar park there. That's 9.9 megawatts of solar power that feeds nothing but Crawfordsville. So when Sealy gets online with their 3.5 megawatts, all their power in the daytime will come from that solar park. That's pretty cool. That IMPA solar park added with that, and with the other 4 IMPA solar parks we have in Crawfordsville, we have almost 30 megawatts of solar power in the daytime. Like a day like today, we're probably running about 55 to 60 megawatts for our entire system. So far, solar is about half of our needs right now. And when we shut down the old coal-fired plant, it could do maybe 20 megawatts. So we got more solar than we ever had a power plant. So that's pretty cool. And we're able to put it in Crawfordsville for less cost than what we sell it to for our customers. So solar did not raise rates by putting all this solar in. Actually, the plan we have, by putting solar in the communities, all 61 HIPAA members, it actually saved us money, because we don't have to pay grid charges to get it delivered to Crawfordsville. It's just right here, and it's here every day. So on a weekend, Saturday and Sunday, when the industries and businesses aren't running very strong, solar can be almost 75–80% of our weekends on a nice sunny 70-degree day. So if we ever get storage down pat, we'll be able to use it even after dark. For now, that's where we're at. But this Tempurpedic, it's going to be great for Montgomery County. This tax is going to be good for the tax base. It's going to be good for CLP. It's also, a lot of these employees, I know employees are hard to find right now, but a lot of their employees, their skilled labor will come from other places and come to work here, which creates another problem. We don't have enough housing. So hopefully when they get finished up in 2 years, fully operational, that's all taken care of. So we're going to start providing them power for their temporary and their construction here in July. So good boost in the arm for us. When I was talking about solar, the power staying here, Indiana is a member of regional transmission organization that makes up 13 states. So just think of it as a big lake where everybody's pumping water into the lake, and then people are pulling out of the lake. So all these generators are working together to keep up with demand and the load. So what happened this February in Texas is going to be a little more difficult to happen in our region compared to what happened in Texas. In Texas, they're all standalone. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to a national conference, and those Texans that I went to that national conference with for years, they always bragged about being independent, always bragged about not relying on any other states. We got all the gas and oil. We don't need to help others or have others help us. Well, what happened in Texas probably can't happen in our region, because our region goes clear from New Orleans, clear to Minnesota, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, and all these states have turbines running constantly, going up and down to keep up with demand. So when you do get a winter storm and a polar vortex, we're such a big region that the other areas can help pick up the slack when need be. During the cold snap in Texas, when they were down, when it was cold for 7 days, we were also cold, but they curtailed us on natural gas because homes get priority over natural gas, not utilities. So they told us we couldn't run our gas turbines. But in Indiana, IMPA has dual fuel gas turbines, and they also can run off fuel. It's very expensive, but it keeps the lights on. So they drained them tanks in 4.5 days, and they were running everything we had because they asked us to. There were some issues with the wind turbines. So we are, because the other states were having problems, we were able to help out. We were pushing a lot of power up to the East Coast because they were having problems with the gas curtailment. So what happened in Texas was not just one person's problem or politics, or it was a combination of many things. It had never been that cold in Texas before. All the wind turbines and gas turbines up north here, we house them inside buildings. And the gas valves are housed inside buildings. In Texas, we don't need to house nothing inside. It don't get cold down here. So a lot of that gas pipeline, some of it started to turn to gel. They couldn't get the valves to work. So besides the electricity being short, homeowners were trying to run their furnaces, try to keep warm. It just started a domino effect on that system to where they finally had to start rolling blackouts just to stay online. But once the voltage got so low on them transmission lines, those generators were kicking offline just to protect itself. So it started to cascade. But what they've learned from that is our wind turbines up here have heaters on the blades. So when they start icing, it melts the ice off the blades. Texans thought, we don't need that. It don't get that cold in Texas. So they had to shut down all the wind turbines because of the ice storm. Then the nuclear plants that they had, a couple of them tripped offline because the ponds and the outside pumps that keeps the nuclear reactor cool, they quit working because everything was ice up and froze. We don't need to house that stuff. It don't get that cold in Texas. And we don't need to run power lines to other states because we've got all the gas and oil. We don't need nobody. So it'll be interesting when I go talk to those Texans in a couple of weeks, ask them how things are going. It'll be a pretty good hot topic. But that us 13 states help each other out. And it's a tremendous benefit to be part of that regional transmission organization. Sometimes the power costs, when it's really, really hot or really, really cold, sometimes the power costs go up because we might have to push power to Indiana from a long way off, so the delivery charges are expensive. But in emergency, we keep the power. And they also, Texas is full of solar panels, but the solar don't work when you have snow and ice on the top of them, and it won't melt off because it stayed cold for 7 days. And so they didn't have any solar power. And they got some of the most solar, more solar than most states in the country right now. But it don't work when it's got snow and ice on it. And then you don't put heaters on it to melt it. Same thing happened to the solar. So their independence really caught up with them. And thinking that they weren't going to have a disaster, they did. But they were shutting all the coal plants down, of course. But a lot of the coal plants weren't running in the wintertime because they don't get any peaks. Their peak, Texas's peaks is in the summer. So in the wintertime, they take a lot of units offline because they've been running all summer for maintenance. Well, they had a lot of units offline also for maintenance, and they couldn't get them back up. A lot of the gas turbines that were just backup turbines were froze up, and they couldn't get them to work. So it was a nightmare. But I thought maybe you'd be interested in that. And a lot of people's asked me, since that happened in February, what the difference is between Indiana and Texas, and could this happen in Indiana? You know, I'm not saying it can, if it got to be 30 below zero for a week or two, that we would be strange. But during that last one, we had 140 gigawatts of available units, and our peak was 110. So in Texas, they had a 70 gigawatt peak, and after that crash at 3 o'clock in the morning, after the Valentine's Day, by 2 o'clock in the morning, they only had about 20 or 30 gigawatts online that they could get online, because everything just started tripping off. So we have some pretty secure backup plans if anything happens. So, does anybody have any questions about any of that?
I got a question with all this ransomware stuff and everything. How are you protected against, or CLP protected against that kind of stuff?
Most of our SCADA system, which is our system operating system, is monitored 24/7 in the office. We ran fiber optics cable to all the substations. We aren't part of the network. We don't have, it's a closed network. That SCADA, you cannot get online and go to our SCADA. It's a closed system, and we've kept it that way for that reason. So, you know, somebody can't get in and start opening and closing breakers or put a virus in there that causes issues, but it's a closed system. We don't even connect to the outside world with our SCADA system. A lot of large utilities like Duke, who's in 10 or 12 states, they don't have a choice. They have got to go across the internet with all their system controls. That's where it gets scary, is when you're open to the outside world and somebody is phishing, and all you do is open an attachment on an email and it just contaminates your whole system. And that's exactly what happened. We have 2 full-time IT people too that keep track of all of CLP's needs for email and data storage. And we also do all the city of Crawfordsville departments too. We street department, park department, fire department.
A couple of questions. You mentioned that Texas had problems with their solar panels because they didn't have heaters. Are the ones on your solar farms heated?
Ours is tilt axis, so at nighttime they stand straight up and down.
Oh, okay.
So if there was an ice event,
It just falls off.
It just falls off. But if you've noticed, the ones we've built lately are on tracking. They follow the sun all day. The first one we built on Memorial Drive didn't track because at that time tracking was so expensive. But now the prices went down, and there was a learning curve for all of us. It was going into solar, that we know how to install it now and make it feasible. So we get about 6 or 8% a day more sun than what we were before, because we're following that sun. A lot of people think, well, you're too far north for solar. Well, that's not always true. When it's 116 degrees in Arizona, that power degrades on them solar panels. They get too hot. So if it's 116 in Arizona, but it's 70 in Crawfordsville, sometimes ours are working more efficient than theirs are. Even a day like yesterday when it was a little bit sunny, but it wasn't that hot. But if you touch the top of the solar panels, it'll burn you. So they get warm. But yeah, that heat's bad on the solar panels.
You also mentioned storage, developing storage for the energy that that you don't use during the day. What kind of storage are you looking at?
We're looking at some battery storage opportunities, and we're going to experiment through IPA. We're going to experiment with one project this year, and we're going to see what the feasibility is. But it just hadn't been cost effective. You can store energy, and you can put it in have a storage facility as big as this building, but the cost, you'd have to raise rates way too much, and it's not worth it at this time. What our motto is reliability, low rates, and we're going to try to go green. If it don't match those three, we won't do it. So if the cost is too high, we don't do it. If it hurts reliability, we won't do it. But if it be green, we're going to try to continue with the green as soon as it's feasible. But I think you'll see batteries. Now some of these cars are 400 or 500 miles. And also, we just went in with Duke. Remember when VW settlement was going around the country, and IDEM here in Indiana got $5.5 million of that to put in charging stations every 50 miles along an interstate, and they want to cover the entire state of Indiana every 50 miles with a fast charger. So we were fortunate enough to go in with them, and we're going to install one up at Sunoco, 74 and 231. So you can go from 0 to full charge in less than 30 minutes. Sunoco's already got all the other alternative fuels up there, and they're locally owned, so they were easy to work with. And they sell the delicious tenderloins. So the perfect place, plug in and go and get a tenderloin, and by the time you get done, your car will be charged. We can charge 2 cars at once when we get it installed. And if a car like a Tesla is good for 450, 500 miles, go to almost 0 to full charge in less than 30 minutes, it'll probably cost them $15 to charge that car full. So it's not more expensive than gasoline. It's cheaper.
Are you getting any requests for people to install level 2 chargers at their home here in Montgomery County?
Yeah, we've had some requests. But you can buy those level 2 chargers at Home Depot for $600 and put it in your garage yourself. So we have been promoting us charging at the homes, but we can lead them and show them how to do it, and it's not that difficult. We've got one in our service building for our electric vehicle. And as you know, here at the library, we got a level 2 charger. Down at the Trailhead, we got a level 2 charger. And we have about 10 or 12 people use that every month. I was getting calls, before we installed them, I was getting calls all the time. I work at Wabash College, and I live in Zionsville, and I've got an electric vehicle. I need a place to charge. So we knew there was a need for it. But the level 2 just takes so long for a full charge, but we could afford those. The fast chargers are about $90,000, but the grant's going to fund them, so that's why we're doing that.
Phil, can you speak for just a little bit about how important it was to Sealy Tempur that CELP be provider for their utility service or electric service, as opposed to Duke and how that got worked out.
Yeah, it all comes down to rates when you're using that much electricity. And we've got an economic development rate that we implemented 8 or 10 years ago for new and existing customers. So let's say Pasteria adds another megawatt. We could give them that economic development rate for that megawatt. So Sealy, we did the same thing with them. What's really cool is IMPA also has a 5-year phase in. Pancakes on top of ours. So what that means is IMPA the first year is going to give Sealy a 20% discount on power, pancaked on top of our 20% discount. They go, wow, that's incredible. So when a company's trying to get a facility off the ground, that is very important.
Well, but because of the service territory, they were in Duke service territory. How'd that get worked out?
That's the tail end of our service territory out there by that solar park in that field. It's a split site. Tempur moved their building a
To be on
little
the right
bit.
side of the line.
So it'd be 80% us and 20% Duke. Who do you think they wanted to serve? And we sent them data for months, our reliability matrix, do we have redundancy, what's our rates? We were investigated pretty good, so they moved their building to be 80% in our territory, so that was an advantage. That really made me feel pretty good that they wanted us. But IMPA really helped on that too, with that economic development rate.
What did it cost you for a megawatt to build that thing?
Solar,
Yeah,
it's about $1.5 million per megawatt to build. Because IMPA also gets the tax benefit from the government off of that. So they install it for $2 million a megawatt, and they get about $500,000 back when it's complete.
but the big converter was 100 acres, what the radios are.
Who?
The large projects,
The larger the projects, the cheaper it gets, of course. And with the government subsidies, you can build it for around 10 cents kWh, those larger ones.
Are the panels that you guys are installing, are they built produced domestically, or are they coming from overseas?
All solar panels come from overseas that are worth their quality. Sad to say. We buy them from a company in Canada, but you know where they get them? They get them from China. Most of our solar panels are 40% of the project. We want the best panels of the last 40 years. So to get those 40-year panels and the best quality we can get, that's where the best ones come from right now. They're manufactured for the whole world. A lot of the steel and all the electric equipment, local contractors put in all that. All the fencing's local, all the stone's local, all the excavating, but you're right, 40% of it comes from China.
Are there plans to expand solar?
Yeah, I'm still trying to expand more in Crawfordsville. And right now, it's getting tougher and tougher to find the property. I need to find some west of Crawfordsville. I need to find about another 20 acres or so. But it's difficult to find. It's in our service territory. I was very fortunate that the county had ground, and now that ground's back on the taxes. Before it was just county ground. The city had some ground. Now that's back on the taxes. Our 5 solar parks brought in over $50 million of assessed value that they pay taxes on, which is good for the community.
What is hydrogen cell generation, is it feasible on the larger scales? And are our companies using that at all?
It's going to be. It's going to be. California has probably 10,000 hydrogen vehicles, and they got hydrogen filling stations. The cost is still very, very high, but it's like anything else. Once they get it down pat, you're going to see hydrogen, and that's a clean energy. And it seems like every month I'm reading more breakthroughs with the hydrogen technology. So there's some buildings in government buildings in California that run off hydrogen cells.
Cummins Engine is big in that field. Do you get any help from them or any technology assistance there?
Yes. We've always been very good about borrowing or stealing technology. No, we don't steal it, but we learn from those folks. Let them make the mistakes, and then we capitalize on them. So it's been, we haven't done any hydrogen yet, but we also have looked into those compact nuclear things that aren't very big at all. And they are making them under high quality in a manufacturing environment, so they're pretty safe. They are bomb resistant. That's how they build them. But you might see some of that technology if the United States has stomach for nuclear.
Yeah, battery, you go there and offset the nighttime on the back on the solar bar.
We haven't got any batteries yet for our solar farm storage. We are going to do it this year, though, in one of the IMPA 61 communities as an experiment to see how feasible the battery storage is. A lot of places are doing it, but it's expensive. And like I said before, we don't want to raise rates through the roof just to have it. So we try to keep rates low. Prime example is Tempurpedic. You know, companies still want low rates. You got to have a balance between low rates and green power. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. That was interesting info. I'll tell you, that's always nice to learn more about what's going on in our community. And since you're our guest today, you get to pick out the winning ticket here. So, pick out mine.
Okay. We already set this up.
Yeah, right. Okay, it's 502360. Who's got that one?
Oh, well.
502360. Maybe it is mine.
Nope, I got it.
You got it, okay. Jerry's got it. Okay, so the way this works is we've got all these marbles here, and we've got one white one, okay? If Jerry gets the white marble out of there, he gets to split the pot, which is right now, let's see, we had 270 last week, and we got 44 today, so 314. You get to split that, so, yeah, we're getting there, aren't we? So you gotta get the white marble. Now you gotta use your left hand, no.
Watch this.
Yeah. Oh, green. Oh, well, so that'll go on, and that'll go on for next week, and we'll keep getting that thing to grow. I think this thing's going to get pretty good. I'll put this in the used marble ones. So our next meeting will be June 17th. Our speaker will be Linda Hansen from the Indiana League of Women Voters. They're right down?
She's actually sending a person from the league from Lafayette down, so.
Okay, so we don't know who the person is, but it'll be from the Indiana League of Women Voters. So, positive thought of the day, the best way to predict the future is to invent it. And I think that's what CELP is doing. Thank you all, and meeting's adjourned.